So it's possible you haven't realized it yet, but the big difference between this and the Bellagio and other properties that Steve Wynn opened, like the Mirage down the street, was that when this property opened, it was walled off, or more specifically, they built a mountain. He said, I'm gonna build a giant resort and put the best thing inside so that people can't look at it from the outside. So last year on the channel, we had the opportunity to give you guys a gorgeous walk and talk tour of the New York, the Park MGM, and the Park Las Vegas. We also talked about this, which is the Coolify by Torras. Now this is a neck cooler that's a little more advanced than most, and I'll talk about technology in a minute. They sent me this, which is the sequel, the follow-up. It's a lot more high-tech, it's more slick. We're gonna do an unboxing review, and we're gonna tour this area to tell you if this is something that you really should invest in. If I like it as much as I liked last year's, I'm gonna say yes. But this is an unbiased review. They sent me the product for free. By the way, Patreon members, you guys are gonna be entered into winning one of these things at the end of May. So let's go walk and talk. Let's go do an unboxing and check this neck cooler out, see if it's worth your while. As we say, my name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. 1, 2, 3, and action. Truthfully, there's two types of neck coolers that you can buy online. Some of them are inexpensive and just blow a bunch of air around. You want to have something that actually cools you, and that's the main difference between these types of neck coolers and what you can get for far less. These are actually quite quality, and I'm really happy with them. Let's take a look at the unboxing right now and see what we get. All right, so this is your basic retail package. Now, on their official website, this retails for $179, and some people might be saying, well, what do you get for that price? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is a very Apple-like unboxing experience, I have to be honest. It came 72% charged, so good to go right out of the box. Looks like a Star Wars type item, but you get this protective case right here from Coolify. It's got a nice little zipper, a little bungee cord, and a carabiner, so you could carry this on your bag or hang it off your hammock, I suppose, if you wanted to. Check out the cool reflection of the UFO flying saucer in the box that comes from Coolify. Now, very similar to last year, you're going to get your neck cooler, and we'll compare that to last year's model as well. Inside we have some accessories, a USB-C type cable, and some documentation for how to actually use this. So in terms of the actual product itself, we have a much more high-tech looking cooler than we did last year, and it actually weighs a little bit less as well. So in terms of actual use and how it works compared to last year's only had one pad on the back to keep you cool. This version has two pads, one on each side, that almost go the entire length of your neck. This one wraps you around in coolness, and it's actually very, very nice. And they claim 3 hours of charge will get you an 18-hour runtime. It charges with just a standard USB-C cable, which is nice, so you can plug this in anywhere around the world. Don't have to worry about specialty charging cables. More flexible, more pliable, but let's go and test it as we walk over at the Wynn and the Encore. So far, I am impressed. We will leave a link for where you can purchase these on Amazon below, and also the official company's website. All right, so we are technically all packed up. Oh my gosh. Let's get going with all of our stuff on our back. It's like 45 pounds of stuff. We're gonna walk and see what it looks like across the street. I'll show you guys the waterfall over at the Wynn and the Encore, tell you a little bit about what makes this property, the Wynn specifically, all that much more special, and how it all kind of jutted off out of the Bellagio, giving free shows to people at the Paris. It'll make sense in a second, all right? So I don't know if you've been watching the channel for a while, but this area right here that we're walking around in, pretty significant. When restaurants were allowed to open up in May of 2020, nothing else was allowed to be running. No hotels, no casinos, but these restaurants were open and there were bikers everywhere. And it's actually quite nice to see. This area here has walkways everywhere. So we're gonna go over to the walkways and make sure we can go over to the Wynn and the Encore expedient and in a quickly way. So for all of you sports fans out there, maybe specifically Cowboys fans, Smith is opening up a restaurant here at the Fashion Show Mall. A brand new Fat Tuesday is replacing the half-price ticket booth that used to be behind us. And other than that, there is some space for lease. So if you got a few $1,000 a month, I'm sure you can open up out here. Going over to the Fashion Show, to the Wynn, is incredibly easy with all these walkways they built out here, which is really nice. This is a beautiful area to come out and sit, by the way. When people ask about that giant flying saucer over our heads, I say it's simple enough. It's just to create a blockage of the sun. Let's go up and over to the Wynn and check out the Wynn property. And I love it that we're out here during the day. On our live streams on this channel, which you should totally subscribe for, we usually don't have this opportunity to come out here during the day. And look at that view that we get behind us. It's kind of phenomenal, isn't it? So as you're walking down the strip, you might see these weird cranes hanging over what looks like a tarp that's colored like a building in front of the Venetian. I'll sum it up really quickly, but the Las Vegas Sands Corporation back in 2007, 2008, they wanted to get in on the condo boom that was happening in Vegas. The Veer Towers, the Cosmopolitan was supposed to have condos in it. Well, they wanted to build their own too. Problem was, when the recession hit, it hit them hard as anybody else, and they had to abandon the towers. Of course, they have new owners now, and Sheldon Adelson is no longer with us, rest in peace. But it's just a glimpse into the past of the last crisis that this city faced and shows how it can come through things. Okay, now this neck cooler is working incredibly well right now. I'm super happy with it. Let me make sure I can turn it up a little bit as we get the nice 80s retro vibe over here at the Wynn Encore Las Vegas. You're gonna love this place. Let's go take a look. So it's possible you haven't realized it yet, but the big difference between this and the Bellagio and other properties that Steve Wynn opened, like the Mirage down the street, was that when this property opened, it was walled off, or more specifically, they built a mountain. Steve Wynn had said in the press at some point, I can't find the quote, so you'll have to believe me on this, he said, I'm gonna build a giant resort and put the best thing inside so that people can't look at it from the outside. So far, I do have to say that the Wynn is pretty cool, the Encore is pretty cool, this Coolify 2 is pretty cool, but you know what's also cool? Our channel sponsor over here on Not Leaving Las Vegas, and that would be Panay Magazine. Panay Magazine is an Ethereum 2.0 validator program. They have their home base over on Instagram. Click on the first link below to find them there, and they go to showcase the global Panay to the world. And a Panay is a woman of Filipino origin. Their first issue will have Panays from North America. Their future issues, Panays from all over the world. The EU, the GCC group of countries, that's places in the Middle East like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Kuwait, all that kind of stuff. They are going to be big, and they base it all out of Vegas, buying major billboard advertising space here in town. They've been on Resorts World. They have other stuff coming up. So make sure you find them on Instagram, check them out, tell them that I said hi. And if you're into Ethereum and cryptos, check out TKEX Exchange over on Instagram too. You can find the links to all of that in the comments below. Now, look at this, see? Giant mountainside, pretty cool. But turn the camera, it's a shopping mall. If Vegas isn't the most varied place that you'll ever go to, I don't know what is. What's the most varied place you'll ever been? You wouldn't know I was walking by a giant mountain from this view, but you would from this view right here. Let's finish up our tour, take a look at some of the more beautiful parts of the front with the waterfall, and yeah, tell you about why I love this place so much, and final review of the cooler right here. Well, so far we saw the front of the Wynn and the Encore. It's still one of my favorite places in town. I recommend you check it out. See the fountains, get your picture over there. It's definitely an Instagrammable place. What about this cooler, the Coolify 2? Is it better than the Coolify 1? Yes, yes it is. It's more flexible, easier to wear, and it's colder. I had to turn it down from the third setting, the most powerful, to the second. It's very, very good. I really highly recommend it. If it gets an 18-hour playtime off a 3-hour charge, that's even better. And I think it's worth every penny you could spend on it, especially if you live in a place like Vegas. But you know what it's also good for? It's going to be good for people who are working in processing facilities, or people that work in distribution centers where you can't always have the temperature you want it. Well, now you have the temperature, you have it. An 8-hour shift, an 18-hour battery life, can't ask for much more, especially nowadays when everything's online and the only jobs we really have is no longer working in the store, but maybe in the distribution center for the store. But let's photobomb these guys. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
Real fast. I highly recommend it. Check it out over on Amazon. Check out Coolify 2. I'll put links in the description below. Thank you so much for them for sending this over to me. If you're, again, on Patreon, we're going to be entering you guys to win one of these coming up in the first week of June. You can find links for joining Patreon and supporting the channel that way. Just another perk we'll give you over there. All right, so that's it from me. That's my summary on it. Let me know what you think below, if you've bought one of these, if you like them. And for now, from the strip, we're going to say 3, 2, 1, click. Are you ready? Get close to the camera and say 3, 2, 1, and click!